Bang! Needs knives. I'm Jared, and here we have the new knife model from Off-Grid Knives. This is the Off-Grid Knives Viper V2. 3 different versions of it. It has somewhat of a, some people would call it a reverse tanto. It has almost like an arrowheadness to the, if that's a word, arrowheadness. It's like an arrowhead in the tip area, which, you know, kind of like a sheep's foot tanto, which I do really like. You know, it'd be very effective at something, you know, if you guys know what I'm getting at. 154 cm steel, fantastic detent, man. Really good action. 154 cm is a fantastic medium grade steel, and as you can see, the G10 handles have a lot of traction. Like that offers good amount of grip. This is not getting pulled out of your hand, or it's not slipping out of your hand, even in wet or greasy or oily conditions. The spine is pretty unique. It's not a saw. I mean, at least I wouldn't use it as a saw. I'm not sure the point of it. I guess it's just jimping, but it gives you good traction. It is effective without being like, you know, stupid sharp or anything. You have good access to the lock bar. Inset deep, yes, it is inset. Inset deep carry clip that is reversible. And yeah, it's pretty cool. So let's talk about, well, first I want to talk about some things I really like about it, but then I want to talk about some negatives. So let's just pull these ones out. Let's pull one up so the camera's not trying to focus on everything. So I love the blade shape. I do really like the blade shape. I think it would puncture really good. All 3 of these came with a good edge. The geometry is on a robust side, but still slicey enough. So it's plenty slicey, but it's also going to be pretty durable and robust. The lockup feels rock solid on all 3 of these. Very solid lockup. The action is very smooth, like surprisingly smooth. You know, I wasn't expecting them to be as smooth as they are, out of the box especially. So a lot of great things, and I love the ergos. Love the ergos, love how grippy it is. I love that it feels so secure in my hand, you know, no matter what I'm doing. As far as negatives go, I have really one negative. Well, I don't like to see the T6s. I'd rather them just put the T8s, but they do have T8s all the way around otherwise. But I'm not going to complain about that. My biggest complaint is I wish they would have, even though there's good access to the lock bar, so I don't want to make it seem like this is that bad of a thing. You know, it is very much me just nitpicking on a ridiculous level. But the liner has a little chamfer right there, and it's very small. I wish they would have made this chamfer bigger, and then brought this back just a little tiny bit so that I could come around from the side more. Now I can come from the side a little bit, but it's mostly from the front. It's like the front and a little bit from the side. And I just think it would make the disengagement like quadruple as comfortable. Like, you know, 5 times as comfortable. Now, I'm not saying it's hard to disengage. It's not bad, but it's not the most comfortable disengagement. But with just a little bit of a chamfer on, you know, just finish out the chamfer all the way down, knock this back a little bit, it'd be perfect. And like I said, it's not bad. It's not bad. The next little nitpick I have is the sharpening tool and plunge grind could be better. You know, they did miss the plunge grind, so that's a good thing. So you'll get one sharpening out of that, but you're going to hit the plunge grind eventually, especially it being a little bit on the robust side. So your bevels are going to be pretty big, especially if you lower back your edge angle like I usually do to make my edges a little bit more slicey. You're gonna hit the plunge grind. Is it that big of a deal? Not really, but it just depends on how you look at it, because it's not a very expensive knife. So, you know, it's not that big of a deal to cut in your own choil or something like that. And then otherwise, you know, it's not that big of a deal to maybe have a little bit of a smile back there. As long as it doesn't bother you, you know, and it doesn't look ugly to you, it would be just fine. But other than those like little tiny nitpicks, this thing's pretty awesome. I see this as a very capable tactical knife. So this is definitely in the, and that's the way Off-Grid is. Off-Grid does make fantastic tactical knives, and these are no exception. These are great tactical knives. They'd make great work knives, great self-defense knives, great tools, you know, just all around general use as far as a tool goes that is an edged tool. Like, this is something that you could, one, go out in the field with, you know, you could possibly carry for, you know, work. You could use it for, you know, because when you say tactical, like the way my definition of tactical is a knife that can be carried and used in all environments and can be used not only for work, but also for self-defense. So that's the way I consider like a tactical knife, something that you can take off grid, something you can take into an urban environment. Doesn't matter the environment you're in, it'll be a capable tool and be like somewhat on the robust side too, because, you know, being a tactical knife, you know, you might have to do something that's gonna put a little bit more pressure on the blade than you might do otherwise, you know, if you were at work or something, you know. So I do expect a tactical knife to be on the tougher side of things. Now, I do think that there are some tactical knives that'll lean more towards the toughness, and there's some tactical knives that'll lean more towards the sliciness, or more towards like the self-defense arena, or maybe more towards the like off the grid type of geometry. So it does depend, and I think there is, you know, a spectrum there as far as tactical knives go, but I do think this one sits right in the middle very, very well. Anyways, until next time, peace.